guess our boat is in its turf because it just hangs around. We start to get the hang of going through locks along the Okeechobee Waterway. We decide to tuck into a marina in Labelle to handle some work and top up our water tank. There are definitely gators, and there is a really huge gator. I guess our boat is in its turf because it just hangs around, and this is prime time gator viewing time. I grew up in North Florida, so I'm not unfamiliar with alligators, but this size of a gator I am not familiar with. And I usually would like to appreciate nature, but I'm not gonna lie, this is one time I'm looking forward to us moving very far away from this gator. Let me show you. Alligator is really not afraid.
Is it that people are feeding it? Or is it just curious because this is like a new thing and it's turf?
Leaving Port Labelle. How are you feeling, Michael?
Good. Glad we got an early start. It's really pretty, really dramatic.
Saw a few alligators already, right?
A couple of really big ones too.
Still fog burning off. Oh, there's definitely a lot of fog burning.
Yeah, it's about an hour now that we've tied up to the mooring, but we officially left the Okeechobee Waterway probably about a half a mile back up the river away from Fort Myers.
And we are just, we just put up our little wind scoop and decided to sit under it, which is really nice.
Just revel in the accomplishment of doing the first half of the mini loop. Probably the boring half.
Is that half?
I don't know if it's fully half. No, probably not.
Should look at the miles. But yeah, we've left Stewart, headed west, stopped at Indiantown, had a white knuckle moment under the Port Myakka Bridge. We had some anchoring challenges over by Moorhaven. What else? And then
we got stopped over in Labelle for a few days because some very serious thunderstorm fronts came through. So that kind of held us up in Labelle.
What do you think of the mini loop, though? Like, did it meet your
So far, I mean, I'm really glad we're doing this. I liked that there was a lot less traffic, and I would actually say a lot of the scenery is really beautiful. And this morning with how early we left and there was still kind of the fog on the water, you know, it was really dreamy and cool, and it was very interesting. And you're on the kind of the top end of the Everglades, so it's kind of swampy, and there's actually a lot of variety to
more
the
alligators.
a lot more alligators.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think the thing that is difficult is that there's not really a ton of options for safe mooring and anchoring in a way that really feels comfortable. Or, like for instance, there's a free dock in Labelle, and with the weather we had coming, I didn't feel like we would be secure enough there. So if we didn't backtrack, one of our other options is to anchor directly across the river from it behind the bridge, but there was already a boat there, and really that's all the room there is, especially since that boat was only on one anchor. So, and Labelle actually has more options than most places.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's like going down the St. Lucie Canal and then the Caloosahatchee River Canal. If you are a sailing vessel like us and are looking forward to kind of anchorages, it's not really that kind of area. So, as long as you don't go in with that expectation, I think, enjoying the nature, but maybe unless you have the means and the time, we have the time, but the means we didn't necessarily want to spend a lot with marinas and such. So it's kind of more a place that people kind of try to get through more quickly, right?
Yeah.
To the other side.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing, is that we didn't really see a lot of sailboats. I think we saw 2 the first day, and I don't remember seeing any other sailboats that seem to be transiting right now. And I know that they do. I know that we're not alone, but most of the boats we had seen were faster trawlers and other larger power boats that were obviously transiting the full loop. I mean, there's tons of bass boats and other types of boats and pontoon boats, but that were obviously transiting the canal system to get to the East Coast or the West Coast. There, and it's, if you can pull 8 or 9 knots or better, you could do the Fort Myers to Moorhaven in a single afternoon. We probably could have pushed our engine a little bit more, but we don't like to push the engine. So, I mean, our average speed was about 5.5 knots. So that also slowed us up. So we just didn't really have the same opportunity. And even if we pushed the engine, I don't think we would have had a significantly different experience, because of the weather, we chose to stop in Labelle. We could have pushed on farther on Saturday, but the weather was coming in Saturday night, so we chose to hunker down, and that was the right move. But I think the idea is that we couldn't have made it that much farther even if we pushed. We could have maybe made it to the Franklin Lock or just past it on Saturday, but we would have then been stuck with limited access to good anchoring and not quite making it to Fort Myers. So.
Right. So yeah, we've traveled almost 34 nautical miles today from Labelle to Fort Myers, and it's a nice change of pace, and we're looking forward to getting the dinghy and going to shore. This is where we can, shower, do laundry, or have packages delivered, provision. So that'll be nice.
And explore a city. This is like the biggest city we've seen since Daytona, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Bye.
Bye.